Tommy Weber. There you are. I see you up in New York. How's it going?
Oh, good, man. How are you?
Oh, it's going good. You know, I'm sitting here in front of my computer on a Sunday night, getting ready to talk about baseball. So I'm in a good place. I'm in a good mood, and
What could be
happy to
better
be
than
here.
that? What could be better
Exactly.
than that?
Exactly. So let me run a test here real quick and see if we got comments coming through, because last week we didn't, and I just want to make sure that everything is working the way it's supposed to. Let's see. Yeah, we got it. There we go. We got comments coming through. So let's make sure we get some people on here. I'll invite some people, see if anybody jumps on. But we got a lot to talk about this week. We're talking top 5 baseball movies, but we'll get to that in a little while. We'll talk about terrible choices kids make when choosing a college to play baseball. And we'll talk about one of the funny things that I see when I'm surfing the web for new drills, or just to see what's out there and see what guys are teaching people. So I'd like to talk a little bit about that as well.
Let's go. Let's go.
All right, still inviting some folks here, trying to get people on board before we start, and then we'll get going. So hopefully Renee will jump on board.
He's a mainstay.
He is a mainstay. So this week I've been looking online for drills and things like that. And my first question to you is, why is everything a trick or a secret? What's the? I understand why they're doing it. They want to draw people in, but they make it seem like it's this, thing that's like it's never happened before. And
Yeah, baseball's a different kind of game. Baseball's a game everybody thinks they own. And anybody that ever played for a half a minute or for a half hour really wants credibility. Credibility is very important in baseball. People want to be on the inside. And if you have a secret, or you could sell that you have a secret, you think that it gives you credibility. All it really does is make you realize that there is nothing new in this game. Everything is just repackaged. There aren't a whole lot of new inventions until they change the geometry of the game. The game is the same as it was 75 years ago. You still got to score runs. You still can't walk people. You can't make errors. You got to throw strikes, and you got to put the ball in play. So, as a matter of fact, when I was doing some of the color commentary at St. John's, we had Bobby Valentine at our send-off dinner one year, and somebody asked him, "What's the difference between managing in Japan and managing in the United States?" And he gave a great answer. He said, "In the United States, in Japan, we look to outwork you. We practice after games. We take hundreds of ground balls, hundreds of swings. We never stop working." He said, "In the United States, we're trying to always trick you."
Yeah. And it comes down to fundamentals. Fundamentally sound teams, fundamentally sound players are always going to win over the long haul. So,
and I think also too, when you started selling instruction, people want a shortcut, and if you can give people a shortcut and sell people a shortcut, they think they could bypass doing the work.
Yep. And something interesting you said, putting the ball in play. I heard a really interesting fact this week. The Houston Astros, 2 years before they won the World Series, led the league in strikeouts as a hitter. So they were like 300 behind, right? So when the year they won the World Series, what place do you think they were in putting the ball in play and striking out the least?
Number one.
Number one. Absolutely, number one. So is there a correlation? I believe so.
Well, the Cleveland Indians this year, I believe, struck out fewer times than any other team and stole more bases than any other team. And they directly attribute their success to their ability to put the ball in play and to be aggressive on the bases. And for some reason, and I think this might be the bigger question for guys like us and for everybody that's involved in the game, is how did we let over the last 5 or 8 years people convince us, how did we all buy in so readily to this notion that it's okay to strike out 170 times a year? I mean, how did we let them pull the wool over our eyes when the teams that were winning were the teams who weren't striking out a lot?
Exactly. And then my wife and I got into a conversation about this the other day. We were driving in the car, and we were talking about Babe Ruth and, how many home runs he hit while he was playing. And my son in the back seat, he's 13, And he's like, well, he struck out a lot. And I said, yeah, but comparatively speaking to today's...
No, he didn't.
No,
Yeah.
he didn't. He was like 100 strikeouts less per season. Right. Yeah, he struck out, you know, at the time, he broke the record. But now he's in like 35th place.
He also hit, like, I think he's like a 340 lifetime hitter.
Yes, exactly.
So,
yeah. I was like, no, he did not strike out as often as you would think. Not compared to like a Chris Davis or a,
please.
Yeah, come on. Those guys 200 times a year plus, and there's numerous guys in the league who do it now.
Yep.
You know, years ago, Dave Kingman was the one guy, or Jack Clark. You know, those guys would come in and just they'd hit 200, 220. They'd hit their 30, 40 bombs, and you know.
Absolutely.
They would strike out 150 times.
The strikeout is not necessarily a toll you have to pay to get on the power highway. You can hit home runs and not have to strike out 170 times.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Let's take a look at Ted Williams. Take a look at Willie
Joe DiMaggio.
Yeah, all those guys. So, yeah, everything just seems to be a tip, a trick. I'm confused by it. And then I go to the video and I watch, and these are drills that we've been doing since, you know, the dawn of time.
Well, people are vying for attention. They're vying for your money, so they're vying for attention. So they all want to package it in some way that will attract you, that will convince you to come and give me money rather than give money to the guy you're already giving money to. I have the secret. That's how everything is sold, whether it's a gadget, a trick, a drill, or some tip, or some new way of hitting that somebody has. You know, if they could convince you that this is the Holy Grail, you're going to pay for it, and people will pay a lot of money for this stuff.
Yeah. Well, I need to start charging a lot of money for this.
You do. Otherwise, people don't think you're worth it, man. I'm telling you.
I don't, you know. I mean, I help out at the high school, and, you know, of course I coach the kids that I coach, but I haven't gotten into the whole, you know, I'm going to charge you an arm and a leg to teach you baseball. But I've been to the places where they do that, and I am baffled at times.
Well, if they don't pay you, they're going to pay somebody else.
Yeah. So I just sit there and I'm just like, I don't understand it. It drives me insane.
Well, it's also the byproduct of taking our kids out of the playgrounds and never leaving them alone. You know, you used to learn by just playing with your friends. So by default, you'd log so much time, Ken, that eventually you'd get around to learning everything. Now, it's just the opposite. You want to log as little time as possible, but get as much instruction as possible, because nobody's allowed to go and play in the schoolyard and choose up games and log time in the game.
Yeah. I don't see anybody over at the fields.
Fields are vacant now.
At all. Yeah,
fields
nobody's over there. Nobody's doing anything, and it's a shame. And I was impressed, though. Some of the kids on my team, I showed them wall ball. There's a tennis court. There's a tennis court over by us, and there's a wall there where you hit the tennis balls against it. Well, I took them over there and said, look, nobody's out here, you know, practicing tennis on it. Get in there.
Absolutely.
Grab a baseball and play wall ball. And I saw a few of them actually over there doing it. So actually some of them it was sinking in. You know, go get your 100 ground balls in 20 minutes or whatever it is, how long it takes.
And we've also convinced a generation of kids that playing defense is not that important, so why bother playing wall ball? You don't really have to be a player, you just have to be a hitter. And the reality is that if your ascension in this game is contingent upon your ability to hit, most of you should just quit right now, because that's the hardest way to get playing time.
Yeah.
The easiest way is to play a lot of positions and play them proficiently, because there's 9 positions on the field. And if you could play a lot of those, you're probably going to log a lot of time. You're going to get in a lot of games.
Yeah, absolutely. And I require each one of my guys at my team to pick 3 positions. And I will try to put them in those positions as often as I can.
Absolutely.
Throughout the season. That way they're not just third base. You know, they're third base, right field. They're third base, right field pitcher. Third base, right field catch, whatever. I just rotate them so they get more time at different positions.
Play the middle of the field. Play the middle of the field. The closer when you're playing close to the lines, you're that much closer to the bench.
Yeah. You know, when I look at my coaching style, I'm a defensive coach first. When we practice, I practice a lot of defensive drills. And parents are like, when are you guys going to hit? When are you going to – you know? I'm like, look, we can't even play catch right now. And
I love it.
You want to hit.
Yeah,
right?
You want to hit.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to hit. I have no problem. I know my guys can hit. We'll get out there. We'll do our drills. We get our hitting in. We get our 150 swings in when we allot that time. But they're like, when are we going to hit? We got to hit. We got to hit. We got to see live pitching. We got to do this. Look, we can't catch a ground ball. We can't throw the ball to first base. We can't catch a routine pop-up. And you want to hit. How about we do those things proficiently first, and then we'll get in the cage, and then we'll do these drills, and then we'll see some live pitching.
If you don't defend, all the hitting in the world that you do is not going to make you win games. No way. You have to be able to defend, because defense becomes your best pitcher. So
when you're giving the other team 6-7 outs an inning, you can't win.
You're a loser. Right. No doubt about it.
Absolutely, and we we've done that, and I'm just like, look, guys, we've got to work on our defense. We got to be able to play catch. We got to be able to do those things. So, all right, we got a new subscriber, man. That's pretty awesome. Over on YouTube, sweet. I like it when we get new subscribers. So, Renee was on, and he's been throwing up some comments. Going back to the strikeouts, Gorman Thomas. Yes, Gorman Thomas was a guy who struck out a lot, but hit a lot of bombs. The video game, absolutely, it is the video game age. My son's out there right now playing Fortnite with his friends. It's raining out too, so it's not like he'd be outside and it's dark. So, but yeah, the instant gratification factor of it is exactly right. That's what we talk about in this day and age. The parents, they just want to take their kid from one event to the next, and they just want to see results, and they want you to blow smoke up their kid's butt, essentially. So. Yeah,
no question about that. That's right. You're absolutely right. I think it all begins with, an unwillingness to let your kid go and play on his own. Until the kid goes and plays on his own, it's going to be very hard for him to kind of get the bumps and bruises that he needs to accumulate to learn his craft. And that's what you got to do. You got to be, you got to get chosen last in a choose-up game. It's good for you to do that because it stimulates you to go home and say, you know what, I'm going to throw the ball off the wall 1,000 times so that tomorrow I don't get picked last. Now everybody gets picked first. Yeah. And if you don't get picked first, you start a new team and you pick your kid first.
Yeah.
So there's really there's really no way, why would you aspire to anything when you know there's a safety net under you? There is no real healthy sense of desperation. And I think desperation, healthy sense of desperation, is one of the key elements in development. You have to, wake up in the morning saying, I'm afraid not to play today because I don't want to fall behind. Yeah. That's a good way to really get good at something. And there's really very little of that now. And it's that way because kids are never left alone.
So I'm looking at Renee threw up a comment. Hey, Victor Coco, thanks for joining us. Some towns don't allow kids to play on fields without a permit. And that is true in some towns. But there's always a place to go, man. We used to find places, a backyard, an alleyway, wherever we could throw the ball around.
Cut a hole in the fence. I'll give you wire clippers. What parent doesn't let their kid have a set of wire clippers so he can break into stuff?
Exactly. Okay. Bowl cutters, whatever.
Fences were made for climbing.
Exactly. But yeah, get out there, man. Don't worry about permits. Ask for forgiveness, not permission.
That's right. That's right.
Get out there and do it. Get out there and play.
How come I can't see you? How come I can't see you?
You can't see me.
I can't see you. I can't see the comments.
No. Oh, the comments are there, man. Let me see what I can do here. Yeah, give me 1 second. I'll try to fix that for you. And all right, you don't see that, huh?
No, but video games are just a natural byproduct of not letting your kids out of your sight. You want them in the house more. You're afraid to let them out of the house. Well, what's going to happen? Somebody's going to tap that part of the market that has parents wanting their kids to be inside. Parents don't want their kids outside. They want them outside if they're with them. They don't want them outside on their own.
Sure.
That's a big problem we have. It really is. It's a huge problem. No independence. Kids are never emancipated. And they don't get a chance to really develop on their own.
I hear you.
I'll tell you what. You know what I would do if I were you? One day, have an experiment.
Okay.
Throw the bats and the balls out on the field and say, here you go. And see what they do.
Well, I have done that. And you know what they do? They start up a game. They start up a game, and they get to playing, which is good. And then I leave them go.
Yep.
I leave them go. I go down the line. I take a couple kids. I work on the cage with them and let them play the game out on the field.
There you go. That's a good service you're doing those kids. That's a great thing. Not enough of that. Free play. You need a lot of free play.
Yep, need a lot of that. So, You sent me a message this week about the Division I college. I need to be on a Division I team in college when I go to college. Talk about this. Talk about, what's the need to do that? Why?
Well, look, it's like, what's the need to play in the major leagues? Everybody dreams about playing at the top of the heap, and that's just natural, and I get that. Mm-hmm. But as the adults in the room, giving counsel to young people, what you want to do is make sure that kids go where they're going to fit and where somebody's going to want them. And what I see an awful lot is, because of this Division I-itis that everybody suffers from, because everybody wants to brag about their kid going to a Division I school. In all the years that I'm doing this, I have never, ever once seen a player in college who I said, hey, that kid should be playing up. So if he was at Division III, I never said he should be at Division II. If he was at Division II, I never said he should be at Division I. But I've seen hundreds of kids who I saw and said, what a mistake this kid made by going to St. John's or going to another Division I school. He's never going to play, and he never did.
Yeah.
But he got the uniform, he got to travel, he got to do all the work. He never played. He got 30 at-bats in 4 years. But that was a kid who should have gone to a Division II school or Division III school and played, because it is about participation in the end. Now, look, there's no doubt about it. There's a gigantic difference between playing Division I and playing Division III. Division III schools are not as good as Division I schools. That's why they're Division III. But if you're a player who's suited to play at the Division III level and you're being courted by a lot of Division III schools and no one from a Division I school wants you, well, that's a recipe for disaster if you go to a place that nobody has said they want you.
Yeah. Remember Mick from Staten Island, College of Staten Island? Remember that guy, the player with the glasses? He had the
Yes.
Right?
That kid was good.
He was.
That kid was good.
He could have played on any Division I squad, right? But he went to that place because that's where he fit in. That was his situation, and that's where he wound up. But like you said, on the other hand, I've seen a lot of guys on a Division I squad that they just sat the bench for all 4 years and never played at all.
But their dads are proud that they're going to. I know a kid goes to Seton Hall. Kid gets very little playing time, but very proud that his kid goes to Seton Hall. Well, as far as I'm concerned, you could have gone to Adelphi, which is a Division II school, played a nice schedule, had a lot of fun, and been a star. Here's the other thing too: anybody could play anywhere. Mm-hmm. Anybody. It's where will you excel? You want to go someplace where not only are you going to play, but you're going to be good. It's no fun to play and then be humbled and not play anymore. If you don't want to be in the bottom third, you want to be at a place where you're one of the better players. Mm-hmm. If everybody's better than you, your chances of playing are very low. So you not only want to go someplace where you can play. I could play in the NFL right now. I'd get the uniform on. Hopefully I'd take one hit and not die and then go off the field. But yeah, I could play. You could play in the NBA. You'd be a terrible player. That's not a rationale for what college you choose. The rationale for a college is, first of all, academically, where do I belong? And next, where am I going to be a player of some import, a player of some value to that program?
Yep. I just don't get it where, you guys got these guys picking schools like Arizona State.
It's a vanity play.
What? Why are you doing that?
Well, because you're irresponsible. Yeah. Because you're allowing your heart and your daddy eyes to cloud your judgment. It's why a doctor can't operate on his own kid, because his judgment is impaired. And it's the same thing with colleges. Parents tend to have impaired judgment. I deal with it a lot. And it's hard to it's really hard to reason with them because they're seeing something that doesn't exist. And they won't hear anything else. So a kid winds up going to Fordham for 4 years. He gets 25 at-bats. But he's at Fordham, Division I. Yeah. Okay.
I kind of respect the kids that choose to play at a smaller school, a community
Absolutely.
college down south, just to get playing time in.
Yep. Absolutely.
I
Sure.
respect those kids. They go down south. They're playing year-round. They're, exposing themselves to more scouts and just the whole 9 yards, and they have a better chance of getting drafted.
Yeah, I think also we think too much about where can I get exposure, when in reality, if you're really good in this day and age,
they'll find you.
Not only are they gonna find you. Technology is such that information travels in real time. You know, they know every guy. Nobody's a secret anymore. It's not like they're beating the bushes to come up with a guy. If you're good, by the time you're 15, everybody knows who you are.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I actually got a video, a Hunter Bishop video the other day.
Oof.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
It was his USA or whatever it was. It was just a short video of him at a showcase, and it showed him throwing from the outfield. Yeah. 2 perfect strikes to the plate. Showed him hitting in the on the field, and then he was just hitting line drives all over the place.
Yeah, Hunt is the man. That's a guy. That's a kid. People, parents should look at Hunter. Hunter started playing baseball as like a junior in high school. Okay, he didn't play the outfield until he was like a senior in high school. Now he's probably the best outfield prospect coming out of the Cape in 2018, and is going to go very high. Hunter is a scout's dream. Body, speed, incredible power, all the things you can't teach, Hunter Bishop has. And, you got to look at your kid, look at Hunter, and if he doesn't look like that, maybe the world needs, plumbers and lawyers and doctors too, man.
But baseball's also a fun game, and you could play
absolutely
at a level that you can play at.
I'm a proponent of that wholeheartedly. Wholeheartedly. I love when kids choose to go to Division III schools because chances are you're going to play from the get-go.
Because you love playing the game, and a lot of guys that I have played with or I've known in baseball who went to Division III schools get into coaching afterwards, and they coach,
absolutely,
and they love it, and they do it until forever, for the rest of their lives. They coach, and they enjoy doing it, and that's what it's all about, in my eyes, anyway. It's about you play baseball to play baseball. You play because you love it. You're not looking to become famous or become a millionaire out of it, because who does? There aren't that many guys.
But maybe that's part of the problem. Maybe that's changed. Yeah. Maybe baseball's become commoditized. Maybe now people are using baseball as a commodity. They're seeing that I can trade baseball for a scholarship, which doesn't exist, by the way. Let's get rid of that myth right now, okay? Mm-hmm. Baseball is the most underfunded sport of any sport in the entire NCAA. There's only at Division I schools, of which there are about 300. There are only 11.7 scholarships for the fully funded schools, and there probably aren't 75 fully funded schools. So do the math. There's 30 guys on the team. You're not getting full rides. You're getting very few scholarships. So that should be the last reason. As a matter of fact, you want your kid to get a scholarship, make him a trombone player, because nobody plays the trombone, and every school has a band, and that kid will get a scholarship for going to some school because he plays the trombone.
Yeah, exactly. So... all right. So moving on, from that topic, just play the game to play the game is my,
I agree.
Just do it. Get out there, play the game, and if you love to play it, think good things will happen for you.
Right. You'll enjoy it.
Yes. And moving on from that, what we're going to talk about right now, Tommy Weber? We're going to cross over into my other world that I live in, the acting world. Yeah, we're going to talk about movies, man. We're going to talk about our top 5 baseball movies. And I'm also going to tell you some stories about when I was cast as a baseball player or not cast. I got a good story. I got a good story there too. But yeah, let's talk about some baseball movies. What's your top 5 baseball movies? Some of the really good ones that are out there. You want me to give you my top 5 first, or do you want to? I'd love giving you my top 5. I'll give you my top 5 first.
Go.
All right, and I grew the mustache just for this. You ready? Mr. Baseball.
Oh, God.
Tom Selleck. I love that movie.
That is a good movie.
I watch it every time it's on. It is fun.
That's a fun movie. It is.
It's absolutely fun. I mean, it's fantastic. Fantastic. All right, so that one is my number 5. My number 4. You ready? Here we go. Bull Durham.
Great movie.
Love that movie. Minor Leagues. Susan Sarandon is fantastic.
Oh, my God.
Kevin Costner, Crash Davis is awesome.
If you could get around Tim Robbins, if you could suspend enough disbelief
yes,
to see Tim Robbins as a pitcher, that is a great movie. It
is a fantastic movie. And that's the thing, too, and we'll talk more about that, about the suspending your disbelief when you have actors playing athletes or actors playing, military guys and, holding the gun and doing all. It gets to be questionable sometimes.
It's a hard sell sometimes.
It is. It's a very, very hard sell. All right, how about this one? I know you love this one as well. You ready? Sandlot. Sandlot is a fantastic film. I love Sandlot. It's a great movie with the kids. Wendy Peppercorn, where he, he fakes drowning in the pool so he gets to kiss her.
Yep.
I love that movie. So that's my number 3. My number 2 is another Kevin Costner gem, Moonlight Graham, baby.
Yeah.
Field of Dreams. Love that movie.
That's a great film. That's a great movie, irrespective of the baseball element to it.
Exactly.
That movie stands on its own as a movie. It's a great film. I can remember where I was, who I was with. Wow, I remember that. Oh my God, I couldn't leave the theater. Like, that was really powerful. That film. That last scene is really rough.
Yeah, it is. I love that movie beyond words. And then, of course, my all-time favorite is, you ready? And you got a story about this one. The Natural.
I do. Oh,
you
my
do
God.
have a story about that one, don't you? So,
I do.
Do you want to tell that story now? Because that'd be awesome. Tell us that story, Tommy Weber.
I finished playing. I was drunk. I'm not drunk. I was
drunk. I was certainly drunk.
And I got a call that they were casting a movie, and they wanted ball players up at Fordham University. And my buddy coaxed me to go. I said, I don't want to do this. This is a joke, right? Mm-hmm. So we get up there, and it's all guys who had played. Phil Mankowski, who had played in the big leagues, the Mets, and I had known Phil, and Jimmy Meyer, who had played with the Red Sox, and Jimmy wound up playing for me afterwards when I managed. Great, terrific pitcher, and they were all there. I was like, wow, this is cool. It was like playing again, you're with the guys.
Yeah.
And then on the other side was all of these actors who, they were throwing, when they were having a catch, they were. It was like I was afraid somebody was going to get killed. So you had to be really careful. So as we started to work out, I remember Tony Ferraro, who threw BP for the Yankees, was there. He had thrown BP for the Yankees forever. And we started like a real pro-style workout. And I played shortstop. Mankowski played second. And now we're going – and as you know, when if you remember, obviously when you just finished playing, you're in great shape. You're firing the ball. The ball's going in and out of your glove. Bang, bang, bang. So I remember Danny Aiello's son, God rest his soul, was playing first base. And I just remember throwing a couple of balls where as they left my hand, I was like, oh, God, no. Yeah. Because you sort of lose yourself. Anyway, make a long story short, we had a great time. We had the script. Barry Levinson was there, and Lou DiGiamo was the casting director. I could actually remember that far back. I remember all the names. They were in great detail. I don't remember – but anyway, I read for they had the whole setup on the field, and I read a couple of things, and I came back. It was almost a whole week. Yeah. And Barry Levinson was a real sweetheart. He was amazed that we could play as well as we did, and this is what we do with players. So I was not cast in the movie and I asked, how could I not get cast in this movie? He said, well, here's the deal. It's a period piece. And although ball players are young, we need guys that kind of look older. And I was a very young-looking, 23-year-old at the time. Mm-hmm. And a lot of the guys that were there, like Mankowski was 37 or 35, and Jimmy Meyer was in his 30s. These guys had all been washed up a long time ago. So they took an older-looking group so as to, not have guys playing opposite Redford, who was in his 40s, I believe. Sure. Yeah. So that they would look so much younger than he. They only wanted there to be like a 5 or 6 year span. But it was a fabulous experience. I still have the script in my house. I have the original script. And it was a really, really cool day. I was very disappointed. They had a blast, as you know. Yeah. They were up in Buffalo at the old Buffalo Bison Stadium for like 3.5 months, and they made a lot of money because they did a lot of night shooting. They had a lot of golden hours, they call them, and
night differential, baby.
Wow, these guys! And as you know, it was a feature film, had big budget, food everywhere, like being in the big leagues, So. Absolutely. That is my story about The Natural. I almost was cast in that role.
Hey, Bob Kahn joined us. Bobby Kahn's on. So
Bobby.
Yep. Renee runs down his top 5 for us. It was For Love of the Game, Soul of the Game, Sandlot, Bull Durham, and then his number 1 is Field of Dreams. So those are good.
I would throw in his. So here's what I would throw out, and here's what I would throw in.
All right, go ahead.
I would certainly throw in Bang the Drum Slowly.
That's a great movie.
I think Bang the Drum Slowly with De Niro and Michael Moriarty is the Brian song of baseball. Okay. Fabulously acted. Horribly. The baseball scenes are horrendous.
Yeah.
But that kind of, you have to overlook that because you're watching two guys act that are fabulous. Moriarty and De Niro were great in the movie. I would throw out The Sandlot because it reminds me of a lot of guys I know who like The Sandlot. And they annoy me. so The Sandlot has to be out. Okay.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Go.
Good.
Obviously, The Natural. Obviously, The Natural's fabulous. Field of Dreams is just as a movie. If it had no baseball reference, it would be great. James Earl Jones is fantastic in that movie. Burt Lancaster is great. Really,
he's Moonlight Graham.
I mean, come on. And I love when he says it would have been a tragedy if I had not been a doctor.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that line. I tell you what movie I really liked. I thought only because I grew up at the knee of my dad, who was a magnificent baseball guy and played and scouted and managed and did everything, and was a rabid Brooklyn Dodger fan. I thought the movie 42 really did justice.
Yeah, let me bring that up right now. I got a picture for that. 42.
Yeah,
Boom.
I thought 42 was really well done. And I thought it was going to be like a real kind of different vibe, but it wasn't. And from what my recollections I have, my father and the stories, it was really close to as close to reality as you could possibly get with that story in a movie without being pandering, if you will. Sure. I didn't love 61 because I thought 61 was too simplistic, and it was like a 9-year-old made that movie.
Billy Crystal made that movie.
Yeah, and I think he made that from the perspective of like his 10-year-old self. Very simple characters. Very, one guy was, Mantle. They were so. The reality is neither one of them. The human condition doesn't work that way. It's not that cut and dry. And I don't think Roger Maris spent a lot of time calling his wife on the road when he was playing for the New York Yankees. Yeah. I just don't think so. But there's a lot of, I'll tell you the other one, Pride of the Yankees. Every time Pride of the Yankees is on, I watch Gary Cooper, and he was another terrible ball player, and it brings it. How could that story not make you, bring a tear to your eye? It's just it's an enduring story.
They had to flip the footage because he couldn't hit left-handed.
Oh my God. Oh my God! Yeah,
he was. I'm sorry, I cut you off. Go ahead.
No, you're right. They had to flip the footage. He was that, but that's the risk you run when it's like it's a skill game. It's not like football where you do close-ups and then pan and watch a guy catching the ball. If a guy can't throw, it's really, or swing a bat, it's evident. The one thing Redford could do, he sold it, and so could Costner. Costner was good enough to sell it. Yes,
and Tom Selleck was good enough.
Well, yeah, and you know what else Selleck was?
Yeah.
Big. Players are big. He's a big guy. So that kind of presence sort of sells it too. He looks good in the uniform.
Yeah, absolutely. I met Tom Selleck, and he convinced me to grow this mustache I got going right now. No, I'm kidding.
That thing works. I'll tell you, that thing works.
Thank
it really
you, man.
does.
I look exactly like my dad, though. That's I don't know if
you
that's
could
good
do
or not.
You could do like a Serpico or Saturday Night Fever or something.
Well, I did a telenovela the other day.
Grief.
With Eric Roberts, believe it or not.
By the way, I love those telenovelas. Yeah. Love them. Them.
And I sent them my picture the day before, and I was like, please don't, make me shave my mustache, right?
Those women are gorgeous.
I mean, I sent that thing out, and immediately, within like 10 seconds, it came back and said, don't shave your mustache. I was like, that's fantastic. I don't want to shave my mustache. So I did meet Tom Selleck, and he was, I got to talking to him. He goes, you look like you played sports. And then we got into talking about baseball.
Right.
He actually said, although he was a decent athlete and he was more basketball, his brother, he said, was a really good pitcher.
Oh, really? I believe that. I could see the genetics there. No question.
Yeah, he said his brother was the baseball player in the family. So, but yeah, Tom Selleck was a great guy. Mr. Baseball, loved it. He sold it big time. So some of the other movies that are out there, The Rookie was a good one. The Jim Morrison story, the Tampa Bay Devil Rays guy.
Yeah, that's a great story.
That with Dennis Quaid. Stealing Home. You remember that with Jodie Foster and Mark Harmon?
Oh yeah.
Remember that one?
Yes.
Yeah. Of course, A League of Their Own. is
Great
a
movie.
fantastic film.
A League of Their Own is great.
Just missed my top 5. You know, I want to get in. I love Tom. There's no crying in baseball. There's no crying. There's no crying.
I love Madonna in that movie. She's great.
And Rosie.
Yes,
she's
great.
You know, not one of my favorite people because she went after Tom Selleck at one point in her life, but she did a good job in that movie.
Yeah.
Fear Strikes Out. You remember that?
Jimmy Pearsall story.
Pearsall.
You know who starred in that movie?
Yeah, Anthony Hopkins.
Yep.
I mean, Perkins. I'm sorry. Not
Anthony
Hopkins.
Perkins. Psycho.
Yeah, Psycho. And they picked the right guy.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Look, I had Jimmy Pearsall as a coach, man. And, yeah, still crazy after all these years was his theme song. You know, still crazy.
Mm-hmm. Paul Simon. Yeah, but, you know, I think he was, like, tortured as a kid and stuff. Rough upbringing. Yeah. And, you know, you got to...
Carl Malden tortured the hell out of him when he was a kid.
Yep.
Carl Malden played his father in Fear Strikes Out.
I think he's an Academy Award winner, Carl Malden. Yeah. I want to say that. Yeah, I think he is.
You can say it. Is anybody going to check? I mean, I think there's like 3 people watching right now. Is anybody going to check?
Streets of San Francisco. Great television show.
The Babe, Cobb, Major League, of course, Major League 2. How about Major League 3, Back to the Minors?
Oh, God.
That was probably one of the worst.
Cobb was very good.
Mm-hmm. Tommy Lee Jones.
Tommy Lee Jones was good in that. Very good. And who was the writer? What's his name? Who was the writer in Cobb?
God, the actor who played the writer?
What's his name? Oh my God!
It's escaping me.
It'll come to me.
It's escaping me. So how about this film, Webbs? You know, I wanted to put it in my top 5. As a matter of fact, I almost put it at number 1. Here we go. You ready? Ed.
Oh God!
Oh my God! When Matt LeBlanc did this movie, I was like, "This is his career ender right here. It's over."
I mean, you know, you have to wonder, how do these movies get made? Who greenlights a movie like that?
I have no idea. I don't know who does that. I mean, it's ridiculous. So, but yeah, Ed, it's really bad. You know, there was a movie that I really enjoy. It's called Long Gone, and I don't know if you've ever seen that. It starred William Peterson, Dermot Mulrooney, Virginia Madsen. It's about the minor leagues in the 1950s.
Oh, wow!
It was a made for TV movie years ago in the 80s, and it was amazing. I really enjoyed it.
She's hot.
Yeah,
she's hot. Virginia Madsen. Oh my God!
Madsen is,
yeah.
She's phenomenal. So, but yeah, it was a great movie that was made. If you ever get a chance to see it, it's called Long Gone.
It's
about the minor leagues in the 50s. Really, really cool. Renee jumped on. He said Ed played on the Staten Island Tide in 2015. He also said 8 Men Out is very good.
That's a good movie. That might get into my top 5. 8 Men Out is a great movie.
Naked Gun, Reggie Jackson as the assassin.
Oh my God!
And Leslie Nielsen as the umpire. Fantastic. And the reporter in Cobb is Robert Wool.
Robert Wool, yeah.
So, fantastic.
Naked Gun. That's funny.
So here's one for you, right? Check out this movie right here. I'm going to bring this up. Where Hope Grows. Have you heard of that one? That baseball movie?
No.
Yeah, and that just goes to show me, Webbs, that you don't pay attention to Ken Arnold's career.
Ken, I'm one of your best friends. I have no choice. But to pay very close attention to your career.
But you totally miss Where Hope Grows. And here's a shot of me in the movie.
I don't listen to my wife. I don't listen to anybody. I try not to listen as much as possible. Let me see a shot of you in the movie. Let me see this.
I put it up already. There it is.
I'm not seeing anything. All I'm seeing is top 5 baseball movies. I'm shut out. I'm shut out.
You're shut out right now. But yeah, I already put it up. It's already up. But yeah, the Where Hope Grows was a film. It's a Christian-based film that I did a few years back. I play the assistant GM of the Louisville Bats.
Wow.
Yeah, and I go and the lead actor, he's a former player, and I go to recruit him to be the manager for the Louisville Bats, which in real life would never happen because they already have their managers and coaches and everything through the organization that they're a part of. But it worked out great. The lead kid in the movie, he had Down syndrome, and he did a phenomenal job. And it's about how he turns the guy's life around. because he's down on his luck. You know, he's an alcoholic now. He's making bad life decisions. But he meets this kid, and the kid wants to play baseball, so he starts coaching him. And
that's awesome.
Yeah, and the kid turns his life around. The guy's
I'm surprised.
I know.
I'm surprised it wasn't, more critically acclaimed. I'm surprised I didn't see that when I was in Cannes.
No, you should have. What's wrong with you, man? See, I told you don't follow my career at all. All right. So Renee said Trouble with the Curve. I
saw Trouble with the Curve. Oh, that's a good movie. That's my God, one of my favorite actors ever. Amy Adams.
Yes, she was fantastic. What about
Clint
Moneyball?
Eastwood? Clint Eastwood. Moneyball's very good. That's a good movie.
Good. Yeah, Moneyball's
That's one of the few movies that Brad Pitt can actually act in.
Yeah. There was a scene where they were in the locker room and they were talking about the bunt, and he said, "Get the out."
Yep.
He said, "Get the out."
Get the out.
Just boom, get the out. They're gonna give it to you. Get the out. And I was like, I'll take that any day of the week. Where Hope Grows was a film that I did, a baseball film. I went to New York to audition for a Mike Piazza commercial.
Oh God.
Yeah, and I went in for the callback.
It certainly wasn't a commercial for how to catch and how to throw. That's for sure.
It was for, if I remember correctly, pain relief medicine.
He was a pain to.
I lost you, Webbs. I lost you. Got to reconnect you. All right, hold on. I'm going to reconnect Webbs. He's out. Going to need you to click back on that link there, Weber. All right, anyway. I'm going to tell my story about, going to New York and doing this whole thing. Let me see if I can't get Weber back on here real quick. All right. Where'd you go, Webbs? All right, so we've lost Tommy Weber. But anyway, let me give him a quick text here, see if I can't get him back on. All right, Webbs, we lost you, man. You're a question mark. I'm going to bring you back up. There we go. See if we can't get you back on. Sent you a text. So, like I was saying, I went to New York to audition for this commercial, and it was a pretty big commercial. It was a national commercial. Would have paid a lot of money. There he is. You back, Webbs? All right, man. I got you. You want to turn your phone sideways, or did you knock it on the floor or something? There you go. All right. So let me bring your picture over. Do you have my picture now? Can you see us now?
I don't.
No, not yet. All right. We're gonna have to work on that. But anyway, I was telling the story while you were out. I started telling the story about this commercial, this Mike Piazza commercial. So I go to New York. I get the call back, and I'm in the room with the producers. And they're like, yeah, and one of the producers says out loud, you don't look enough like a baseball player. And I was like, whoa.
Ouch.
I said, yeah. I went, whoa, hold on. I said, did you see my resume? And the producer looks, and she looks at the bottom, and in bold red letters it says, former professional baseball player for 9 years. It's all my resumes. And she looks down, and she looks at it, and she looks up, and she goes, oh.
Maybe that's why you were auditioning for. Maybe she figures, well, that's why you were auditioning for acting, because you couldn't play.
Yeah. So guess what? Didn't get that role. So, but here's what I did get. The role I did get. I was in the commercial. You ready?
Yeah.
Chicks dig the long ball. I was in the Chicks Dig the Long Ball commercial. You remember that with Mark McGuire and Sandy
Sosa? Didn't you do like weren't you a double for Cal Ripken?
Yeah, I was getting to that. I have a picture for it too, actually. I was a double for Cal Ripken. I'm going to bring that up right now. In a Bear, an All-Star ad for a Bear commercial. And as you can see right there, I'm stunt doubling. I'm diving over the edge of the thing there, trying to catch a ball that's ripped down the foul line. So there's a funny story about that, because we're doing the rehearsals, right? And Cal sees me doing the rehearsals, and he says to me, he comes over, he's like, so you played before? I go, yeah. And he goes, who'd you play for? I said, the Orioles. He goes, what position? Shortstop. And then there's like this awkward pause, right? And he's looking at me, and I go, yeah, some guy wouldn't take a day off. And then I turned around and walked away, and he goes, you got me. Yeah, I did, because I owed you. Because back in 1994, when you threw that ball at Johnny Oates, and then you pointed at me like I did it. Yeah, I got you, punk. Cal Ripken. He actually lives right down the street now in my neighborhood. He lives, across the... He lives on the better side of the tracks, though. Just saying.
I'm sure. He better.
Yeah, he does. So anyway, I never had a chance to actually play a baseball player in a movie. I would like to, but now I'm aged out. I'm the coach now. I'm the coach guy with the mustache.
Right.
So I'm
the Wilford. The period piece.
Yeah, I'm Wilford Brimley in The Natural. Yeah, I should have been a farmer. That's all I gotta say. I see you're in the kitchen with the microwave now.
I am in the kitchen
with the microwave. What happened? Did you knock the thing on the floor or something?
My phone is running low. Let me check my phone. Hold on.
All right, man.
Yeah, I'm low, man.
All right, keep it plugged in. If you
I'm plugged in.
Keep it plugged in. All right, I'm looking here. We've been on for 45 minutes, so we're getting near the end of it anyway. Right?
All good.
So we're getting near the end. So, yeah, it's, did I ever tell you the story of why I became an actor? Or what led to that decision of why I became an actor?
No, I just thought you were crazy enough to want to be an actor.
Well, yeah, there is that. You got to have a little bit of crazy in you to be an actor. Absolutely. But I had just gotten released by the Texas Rangers. And this is how it played out. Like, I got the letter, my pink slip. It was pink from the Texas Rangers. We will not be signing you back. So I'm lying on the couch feeling sorry for myself. And and I'm watching Days of Our Lives. And Drake Hogenstein comes on. John Black in Days of Our Lives. Now, Drake Hogenstein played in the minor leagues. He was for the Toronto Blue Jays. He was a minor league player, and I knew that. And I'm watching it, and I'm watching how bad this acting is. And it hit me. I sat up. No, this is exactly what I said. I could be as bad as that. I can do what he's doing. Right? I could probably do it better, but I can do what he's doing. So I opened up the phone book, because that's how we used to have to do it back then. And I found Maryland Hall for the Creative Arts. I called them and said, hey, do you guys have acting classes there? Yep, we sure do. We have one starting in an hour. Can you get here? I said, I will be there. Boom. Threw my boots on, went out the door, got there, took the class, loved it. Within a couple weeks, the instructor, the woman who was teaching it, said, hey, you should get a headshot and send it out. I did. A couple weeks later, I was working on a job. So
there you go.
But that's how I did it. I got released from the Texas Rangers, and that was kind of the thing that pushed me in that direction to go in that.
Well, it's that kind of business, man. It really is. It's a business of inspiration. And you're right. I watch movies and TV all day long, and I say to myself, my God, how does that guy actually get paid to act?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. And I've done a lot of cool things since. And it seems to be a starting point, on my resume, and when people, oh, you're the guy who used to play baseball.
Right.
Yeah, but in a way, too, it's almost like, oh, you're the baseball player, you can't act. And then they see me and they're like, oh, but you can act. Oh, okay. Yeah. And then when I do stunt things, like I did for Ripken as a double, and like the stunt guys don't get it. Dude, I was an athlete. I was a pretty good athlete. I was a shortstop. Right. They're the best athletes on the baseball field. I wasn't bad. I can do some things. And they just don't get that. They're just like, what? Yeah, I want to do my own stunts. I'm kind of athletic. I can do that. So, yeah. So anyway, let's wrap this up. I mean, we got Renee on. We got Victor on. Renee said, you ever see Undrafted? I don't remember that one. Undrafted. Do you remember that one?
No.
Yeah, I don't remember that movie. It's about John Manzetti, who was skipped over in the draft. It could have been about Ken Arnold. I was skipped over in the draft, too.
Join the club.
Yeah, join the club, John. Join the club. I didn't want to say, Webb, did you like my shirt I had on tonight? My Wagner College shirt?
I love it. I had my Vanderbilt shirt on, given to me by Julian Infante.
Yeah, this shirt is 25 years old.
25 years old. You're still fitting it.
Oh, yeah, I do. Andy gave it to me when he was playing
Nice.
Wagner. Yeah, Andy Diorio. So, and Lenny Cancelleri gave me this mustache. There's a name for you, Lenny Cancelleri.
My God.
Oh, yeah. Well, thank you, Victor Coco. Victor Coco jumped on and said it was a good show. We lost you for a minute there, Webbs, but we got to figure out why you're not seeing that. You should be seeing that screen, and you should be seeing the comments. We need to get you a setup where you have your laptop and you have your camera.
Okay.
So you can do both. You can look at the comments that are coming through online, and you can talk to the camera and see what's going on there. So we'll work that setup. We'll get that fixed for you and make it happen. But let's get out of here. Let's close this down. So we went over our top 5 baseball movies tonight. We talked about selecting a school that is a right fit for you and not because you want to go and play at Division I. And we talked about why is everything a tip or a trick or not a tip, but a trick or a secret in the world of baseball these days. Why isn't it just, hey, let's teach these kids how to play baseball the right way? So, all right, man. You still there?
I'm here, buddy.
You're not saying anything.
Well, we said a lot. We
did.
I think we alienated enough people, so tonight.
I think so. Renee said, as always, a fun show. Thank you for joining us again, Renee. We got to get some more people on here, but we will. We're working on it. We did get a ton more views over on YouTube this past week, which was really cool. So that's pretty nice. So I love you sitting there looking with your glasses and you're like looking into the screen like, what's going on right now? I love that. I love it. It's awesome. It's awesome.
And all I have is this tiny little box at the upper right-hand corner of my phone. That's it.
That's it, right? That's it?
That's it.
Wow. You should have the box with the screen that we're on as a big one, and then you as the little tiny in the corner.
Nope.
So you know that you're there. Hit that box. Hit that little tiny box and see what happens.
I did. It just opens me up.
Okay. Well, it shouldn't. It should give you the box that I'm sending you so you can see what's going on. So you can see what's going out to the audience. But anyway, we'll get that worked out. Everybody, thanks for joining us. We appreciate it. Tommy Weber, thank you again.
Thanks, pal.
I appreciate it. Man, we'll talk next week.
All right, man.
We'll have Chris Gresham on the show. We'll talk a little catching.
That's going to be great.
And I'm looking forward to that because, as you know, you and I were never catchers, and I just love – it's fascinating, the stuff that goes on behind the plate.
Yeah, I love catching, man.
Yeah, so –
I'm looking forward to that.
All right, man. Again, have a great night. We'll see everybody next Sunday night at 8 p.m. Take care of yourself. I will see you later.
Be good, partner.
All right, man. See ya.